Hello, my name is Jack Dangermond, and I really want to send you all a warm welcome to this users conference here covering Colombia, Ecuador, and Panama. Colombia has a very special place in my heart. My good friend, Helena Gutiérrez, was first introduced to me by her brother, who was a computer person there in Colombia. And I came to know him and the Gutierrez family very well. They were good friends. And I think friendship is the basis really for doing good business. But Helena is a special person because she not only understands computing, she's a mathematician first off, but she also understands the power of geography and GIS and how it's transforming these various countries. So we started working together first in the Bogota cadastre many years ago, which has now expanded out to the whole city of Bogota, and then went from agency to agency, organization to organization at the national level, the local level, and most recently with utilities. For example, the largest electrical utility just gave us the confidence that they want to go with our Esri Colombia solution. Networks, electricity networks, gas networks, water networks. These are what holds the country together. And that, together with environmental settings, together with forest management, together with all the big issues that we're currently confronting, like COVID or social issues across your countries, is important. So listen, I want to say thank you for all the work that you do. These meetings, like this one, are an opportunity for us all to share our work and learn from each other. And this is so very important. I want to say also that over time, this work, your work, is creating a new kind of social infrastructure. I like to call it geospatial infrastructure, which will be a foundation for creating better nations, better Colombia, better Ecuador, better Panama. And it's my great pleasure, actually, to work with you indirectly by way of Esri, Colombia, Ecuador, and Panama to support your work. This technology is now in the beginning stages. Some of you would say, no, it's quite advanced. It is quite advanced, but it's also, from my view, in the very early stages of what will create a kind of transformational platform for creating better countries. Thank you for coming together. Thank you for being a kind of community. Thank you for the great individual work that you're doing, and thank you for the combined work that you are doing. Let's call my friend Helena now and find out what she wants me to say. I'll turn it on speakerphone here so you can all hear. Well, thank you very much, Helena, for letting me participate in your users conference. What would you like me to talk about with all of your users there in Colombia, Ecuador, and Panama?
Hola Jack, gracias por esta llamada. Es un gusto muy grande para todos que nos acompañes en esta reunión de usuarios tan significativa para nosotros. Y además, en este tiempo particular de la pandemia.
Well, go ahead.
Todos sabemos lo difícil que ha sido el COVID para todo el mundo. Nuestros usuarios han trabajado mucho para entender y plantear soluciones y han aprovechado el programa de Esri para apoyo a atención de emergencias, utilizando las herramientas de Esri de muy diferentes maneras. ¿Podrías decirnos y explicarnos más sobre este programa y cómo ha sido utilizado en el resto del mundo?
Okay, well, Esri now is 51 years old, as you know, Helena, and about 25 years ago, there was a big earthquake here in Southern California. So we began to give our software away free to all of the different organizations that were responding to that earthquake. And that changed my thinking. We began to think about the idea of a disaster response program where we would, anytime any disaster would hit anywhere in the world, hurricanes, earthquakes, flooding, we would give our software away for free to our users and non-users around the world. In the case of COVID, it was a global pandemic, as you know. So we stood up the disaster response programs. There are now over 5,000 organizations who have taken our software and stood up things like dashboards and emergency response programs. And many of them there in Colombia, Ecuador, and Panama. Now this isn't just a technology thing, it requires the work of good people. And so we're very happy to be generous with our tools. But what I like about this most is the amazing response that happened as a result of your customers taking these tools and working with your staffs in the respective countries and responding. So I'm excited about that.
Tienen mucha razón. En nuestros países hay muchos usuarios que han dedicado importantes esfuerzos en este sentido. Unos experimentados, otros nuevos, que han aprovechado el programa, y hay como 150 entidades que lo han hecho. Quiero nombrar como la presidencia de las repúblicas de Colombia, Ecuador y Panamá, algunas ciudades como Bogotá, Medellín, Guayaquil, la Autoridad de Innovación de Panamá, la Gobernación de Cundinamarca, la Fuerza Aérea Colombiana, todos haciendo diferentes soluciones para atender a sus comunidades, las personas vulnerables y dar mucha información sobre los recursos disponibles en tableros de control y mapas.
And responsive. I mean, 30 years ago when I first met you, I was so impressed by both you and your brother's activities there of building computational competency across Colombia. And you first introduced me to the Bogota Cadastre organization, which was early days in Colombia's history with respect to GIS. But you pioneered this, and the city of Bogota continues to pioneer, now having GIS in almost every different department. And it has been a model for all of the cities in your region to be able to copy, to build more intelligent programs. So I appreciate and want to acknowledge you, Helena, particularly, and your staff for the amazing way that you have taught different institutions. You've introduced GIS into universities. You've advocated it. It has been, watching you has been a labor of passion. It isn't just doing business. It's something more than that.
Gracias, Jack. Agradezco mucho tus palabras y que recuerdes a nuestro primer cliente, Catastro de Bogotá. Y a propósito, actualmente en nuestros países hay un nuevo reto por el catastro y la titulación de tierras. Y quiero resaltar que Esri atendió nuestra solicitud de adecuar algunas aplicaciones para este catastro en particular y atender nuestros requerimientos debidos a nuestra geografía y a nuestras realidades políticas y sociales.
Well, we appreciate
Yes, go ahead.
we appreciated the opportunity because by working with your people there, we've been able to make improvements in our field collection tool, Collector, to be able to deal with monumentation of the boundaries of cadastre. And so, yes, we're happy to work, but also we get something out of this in the way of learning that improves the tool so the tool can be used widely for work all around the world. So in your post-conflict activities with the Office of the President, Cadastre is moving beyond just cities or municipalities to the entire country to address the issues, as I understand it, of land restitution and demining, all sorts of interesting activities.
Sí, Jack, ha sido muy importante para estos procesos, que son claves en el desarrollo de nuestros países. Con los SIG podemos entender nuestro territorio y las diferentes variables que convergen sobre él.
I think the word that you're using here is important, understanding, because GIS at the center point is all about understanding one subject or understanding the integration of multiple subjects brought together. This is the power of geographic thinking. And as Humboldt experienced when he first came to Colombia many years ago. You need to see the whole. And through our different organizations, we have divided organizations into different departments, which has advanced work, no doubt. It's advanced science, it's advanced our administration. But the holism that Humboldt saw, bringing all the parts together, is what I think GIS is now doing today. So you're right, Helena. It's all about the word understanding.
Jack, me encanta tu idea de relacionar los SIG con las observaciones y conclusiones de Humboldt que precisamente sucedieron en estos países, Colombia y Ecuador, que impactaron a Humboldt por su gran diversidad geográfica y biótica. Esto nos permite ver a Humboldt como el precursor de los SIG. Jack, y me gustaría pedirte ahora si nos puedes hablar de la evolución de ArcGIS y tu visión sobre el momento actual de la tecnología.
Okay. Well, 30 years ago when we first met each other, the big technology was mini computers, prime mini computers, which then moved to workstations like Sun workstations, which then moved to PCs. They were the same concepts, but they were different foundation technologies. That then moved to web servers, where servers with thin client access can access geographic information. In the more recent years, these servers have moved to cloud services. And this is so exciting because it means instead of just creating data, I can serve my data out and other people can use it. They can mash it up or overlay different services and use each other's data. In Colombia, for example, DANE or IGAC or the utilities or individual cities do their own work for their own reasons. And this is very good because they are automating their work and being able to do good analysis. But in addition, what's occurring now is these users are beginning to share their data as services. That means these web services can be brought together and used in between the different organizations. They can interconnect the organizations in new ways. And so technologically, this is the first biggest change. Then more specifically on individual tools, we've made huge advancements in ArcGIS Pro. So ArcGIS Pro is by far the most sophisticated analytic tool and visualization tool for geoprocessing. We've made advancements in enterprise computing, and particularly with the new Kubernetes version, which will come out in the winter, we'll see cloud native implementations of the ArcGIS enterprise tools. We're seeing advancement in the devices like field data collectors. Historically, we've had different apps for different parts of field work. We're bringing this all together now into one app, one kind of super app that will bring mapping and field data collection and navigation all together, simplifying the work there. There's lots going on in spatial analysis, in being able to look at spatial temporal work. And this has been very important in things like COVID. For example, seeing the patterns of COVID and then forecasting where the growth is going to occur. And that geographically is important because then we can understand the impact on hospitals or the impact on need for treatment centers or need for testing centers. So these are a few things, but during this week of your users conference, we'll see many, many, many other tools that are available. For executives, this means progress. It means better organizations. It means healthier organizations. It means more efficient organizations. And it also means more collaboration across organizations. So, you know, Helena, Colombia is one of my favorite places. And it's one of my favorite places because, because of you and all of the great work that you're doing. But it's also one of my favorite places because people do see the value of GIS and they embrace it. So the pioneering work that you and your colleagues and all of your users are doing in your various countries have have really opened the world's eyes, particularly in Latin America, to the power of what GIS can do.
Muchas gracias, Jack. Fue un gran resumen. Y como lo has dicho, lo más interesante es verlo aplicado con la creatividad de los usuarios en los diversos temas. Ahora quisiera que habláramos de un usuario que por su particularidad geográfica tiene una función muy especial, unir dos océanos. Es el Canal de Panamá. Ellos son muy buenos y aprovechan los beneficios de ArcGIS en su operación tan compleja que nos permite a todos ver el poder de los sitios.
Well, first, you're absolutely right. It is one of the great geographic features of the world, bringing two oceans together this way, and it's man-made. And because it's man-made, it has to be managed by humans. And this is a complex problem, moving tons of ships through this canal and scheduling it and organizing it and managing all the facilities associated with it, managing the water flows and so on. This is enormously challenging and a great achievement of humans. In other big ports, and I think of Panama sort of like a port because it deals with the ships, like Amsterdam or like Los Angeles, what we're seeing is automation and scheduling of so many activities in ports. So it's not just using GIS for facility management, it's also using GIS for optimizing port and, in this case, the canal's usage. Facility management, buildings management, water management, energy management, logistics management, all of these things are things that can become increasingly empowered by the power of GIS and digitization. So, you know, I have to tell you, Helena, I want to go to Panama. I've stopped there in the airport a few times, but I want to really see the canal and actually meet the great people who are managing this amazing geographic feature.
Oh, thank you, Jack. Yes, surely we have to go to Panama together and see all that. Also, I think, and I talk for all of our users in these countries, we can't wait to have you here,
Okay.
visiting us.
This will be great.
Having you here with us.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jack.
Thank you, Helena.
It's great to have this conversation with you.
It is.
Thank you.
Goodbye to you
Thank you, goodbye.
and all of the users. Bye then.
Bye.